Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So today we are going to talk about how to create flawless makeup looks. I'm not a makeup guru, at least not yet, but I do have some makeup tips to share with you guys. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I do a lot of beauty box unboxing, try-on videos, beauty products review videos, makeup tutorials, and sometimes I do DIYs. I love playing with the makeup. Since you are here, I would assume that you are just like me, so please consider giving me some support and subscribe to my channel. I also watched some videos on this topic, and a lot of people are like, well, practice makes perfect. Am I gonna say the same thing? Yes, I'm gonna say the same thing because that's true. However, that's not the only thing I'm gonna say, because there are some common mistakes that we may make, which could make the makeup look less perfect. So today I'm gonna share with you my recommendations as I do makeup. Now let's go. I'm first gonna do primer. Today we are gonna use two primers. The first one is this Touching So No Pore Blum Prime Essence. I really like this product because it really hydrates my skin and makes makeup stick to my skin a lot better. So I guess we are gonna do the Instagram way. Oh, I am not very good at this. The second product is this Professional Primer from Benefit. This one is the hydrating one. They also have the Pearl and the original, I believe. I think the original is green and the Pearl is pink. I'm just gonna spot it on my face. I think that should be enough. I'm gonna try to use affordable makeup today, but probably not for my base makeup because I feel like the base makeup is very personal. So you really want to choose a base makeup that fits your skin type, like the primers and the foundation. And also because I am older, so my skin is not as healthy as younger people. So a lot of times it's very difficult for me to find a good base makeup. That's why once I found a good one, then I'm sticking to it. There are affordable foundations that work for me, like the Milani foundation. It works on me pretty well. I'm not using that one today because sometimes for some reason my skin just does not want to cooperate with that foundation, so I'm going safe. That's why today we're gonna use this Lancome foundation. It's their Tint Idol Ultra Wear foundation. I'm not very sure if that word is tint. Tint? I need to look that up. So I got a foundation here. This foundation is not full coverage. That's why I need quite a bit to do the foundation. And today we are gonna use this sponge from Junicone. It's their original microfiber sponge. I really like this one for foundation, and for concealer sometimes I feel like it's not soft enough. That's why for concealer I usually like to use Beauty Blender. And I'm so sorry, this foundation is not completely my color. It's slightly lighter than my color, but because everything oxidizes on me, so eventually it's not too bad. I think that sometimes people think the better coverage, the better the foundation, but it's so not true because sometimes the full coverage foundation could be really drying, and if you have dry skin like me, it's probably not gonna work very well. And also when the foundation does not have a very high coverage, sometimes it would look more natural. With the remaining foundation, I am applying a little on my neck because like what I said, this foundation is a little bit lighter than my skin color. Okay, so before the foundation dries completely, we have to move on to concealer. It's very important. If you are applying cream products, then you want to apply them all together before everything dries out. Otherwise, you are going to lift up the makeup that you have underneath. So it's very important. If your foundation dries pretty quickly, like this one that I'm using, then we better move faster. Today the concealer we are using is this ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer. So I am going to just put some right here. I am not gonna apply a lot of concealer because as you can see, this concealer is very light for my skin color. But this concealer does not have a very high coverage, so it's okay. However, if you are using a very high coverage concealer, then you probably want to use one that's closer to your skin color. But this concealer does not have a very high coverage, so we are okay. By the way, I'm using a beauty blender. I feel like for this purpose, beauty blender is the only thing that's soft enough. That's why I always use beauty blender for this. Okay, so these are the only cream products I'm gonna use today. So let's move on to setting powder. I only use setting powders in summer, so I don't have a lot of setting powders. That's why today we are just gonna use this Too Faced Cocoa Contour Palette, which we received in one of the BoxyCharm premium boxes. So I'm just gonna use the two lighter shades to set my face. I actually would set my entire face because I'm pretty much gonna apply powder all over my face later. The place that I would have most problem would be my nose and my cheeks. So these areas are very important. But when you're setting your makeup, make sure that you not just set your eyelids, because later we might want to apply concealer or eyeshadow primers on the eyelids. If you set now, then it's gonna get cakey or difficult to blend. Next, I would wait a little bit before I do my face makeup because I want to let my makeup melt with my skin somehow like that. Then it would be easier for me to put on other face makeup later. That's why during this time, I'm gonna do the brows. So today we are gonna use this Milani Precision Brow Pencil. So I really like it because it's microfine. See, the tip is really fine, and also it's round. Honestly, after using so many different brow pencils with different shapes, I still like round shaped brow pencils better because I feel like it's easier to draw curved lines. Yeah, of course, those oval shaped ones are easier to do the straight lines, but with my brow, at the end, I need to do some curved lines. So I feel like the round ones are better than the oval ones. So accident happened. I forgot to turn on my microphone after I did my brows. That's why now we have to cover the talking. First of all, it's the brows. So people barely have two perfect brows. A lot of times, one side is different from the other. What we could do is to focus on the good side first, afterwards to move on to the other side. Just to draw the bad side out based on the good side. The other thing is that we can make the head of the brows lighter and the tail darker. This way the brows would look more natural. There are many ways to do brows. I usually only do my brows this way because I barely have any brow hair. But if you have a lot of brow hair and you want your brow hair to stay in place, then you probably need a good brow gel. Doing brows is time consuming. If I spend an hour doing my makeup, then half an hour I would be spending on my brows. So take your time. Next, I did a bronzer. The bronzer I used is from this contour palette. It's from the brand called O2O. I actually got this one from AliExpress. I used the shade right here. That's the darkest matte shade in this palette. So when doing the bronzer, I would draw a line from the top of my ear to the corner of my mouth. But I wouldn't go all the way through to the corner of my mouth, of course. I would stop right here. Then some people say stop by the side of your pupil. I think that's exactly what I did. Of course, we want this line to be darker on the top, then lighter on the cheek. I also do bronzer on the top, like the edge of my face, and also bring the bronzer in around this area. This way we can make the face smaller. The basics to do bronzer is to make our face smaller and the side, the edge darker, then the center is lighter. I also did the bronzer on my jaw lines, so this way we could make the face thinner, especially if, like me, I have some extra fat on my face. That's why it's very important. For bronzer, I like this kind of a dense but a soft brush, so it makes the blending a lot easier. It's really important to blend out the top edge of the bronzer because later we want the bronzer to be blended into blush or blush blended into bronzer. Then if the edge is blended out, it's gonna make the job a lot easier. Some people like to put a powder right here. That's gonna make their bronzer more defined. However, that's not something that I personally like. That's why I don't do it. I prefer bronzer to be more blended into my base makeup, but it's totally my personal preference. If you like more defined bronzer, do it. There's nothing wrong about that. I also contoured my nose a little bit today. I only did the bottom side of my nose because honestly, I don't really want my nose to be very defined. And because we highlighted the top of the nose, it's kind of like natural contouring the nose. The blush I used is this Milani Baked Blush in the shade number 5, Luminoso. I'm not very sure about this pronunciation, but if you're looking for this shade, it's number 5. It's a peachy shade with a little bit of shimmer in there. I really like this color, and also the formula is really good too. When doing blush, I like using this kind of fluffy brush. It's actually a powder brush from Billion Dollar Brows, but I use it for blush. It works actually pretty well. What I do blush is that I would let the blush sit on top of my bronzer. I do it this way, like to lift the blush up. And because the bronzer was blended out pretty well, that's why it was pretty easy to blend the blush into the bronzer. If you lift up your blush, it's gonna make your face look longer. Of course, if you don't want to make your face to look longer, then you can do like more a flattened line, but it's totally personal preference. The highlighter I used today is this Wonder Wild highlighter. It's their Mango Glow highlighting powder. So if you have never tried the Wonder Wild highlighters before, you totally should. And these are very affordable. These are like $5 per piece. And they have a good variety of colors. The one I used today is this Blossom Glow, which is kind of like a light pinky shade. I used this large blending brush to do my highlighter today. Basically, I just applied it on my cheeks, sitting on top of my blush. You see it? Bronzer, blush, highlighter. So one sits on top of the other. I also applied some highlighter on my forehead, on top of my brows, and a little bit on my chin. Of course, a little bit on the tip of my nose and also the root of my nose. The highlighter really gives the face a little bit of light. The lipstick I used today is this Super Stay Matte Ink from Maybelline in the shade 65, which is called Seductress. Maybe, I don't know the pronunciation, but it's a very nice color. And I tried a good number of drugstore lipsticks. I think this is one of the good ones. If you're looking for one affordable lipstick, I think Maybelline is pretty good. This formula is creamy and dries matte. It's a little bit sticky, so not perfect, but it's like $9 or something, so it's half the price of a high-end lipstick, liquid lipsticks. So I really don't think we have a lot to complain considering the price point. Let's also apply a little bit of highlighter on top of the lid. Last, let's do eyeshadow. I understand that a lot of people like to do eye makeup first, then do face makeup, because sometimes eyeshadows could have fallouts, which potentially could ruin the face makeup. But I just have this kind of habit to do eyeshadows last. And the fallouts that I've been having are in the controllable range. Let's put it that way. Before eyeshadows, we need to do some sort of a primer. Of course, you can purchase a real eye primer, but some sort of a concealer is good to go. I would choose one that's close to my skin color. And today I'm using this Too Faced Born This Way Naturally Radiant Concealer. I usually just use my finger to blend this thing. I pretty much don't use my fingers for anything else, just the concealer on my eyelids. I feel like it just works much better than a brush. Today we are going to use this Morphe collab with a Manny MUA palette, Glam palette. The reason I chose this one is because I think this is one of the more affordable options, and also this palette is beautiful and we can create neutral looks with this palette. Today we are just going to create a simple eye look, because this video is more like a teaching video, and I understand not everybody is going to do eye makeup like YouTubers. First of all, we are going to use this color right here to do a base. I usually would use a very fluffy brush like this and get the color all over my eyelids. Morphe eyeshadows are very blendable, so setting a base usually is not necessary. However, if you are using one of those super sticky eye primer, or eyeshadows with a not very blendable formula, then setting a base is super important. Next, we are going to take this shade right here. It's a transition color, and we are going to put it into the crease. These shades are not super pigmented, but blendable and buildable. I think this kind of a formula is really good for beginners and for everyday use, because usually we don't want to wear bold eyeshadows when we are going for work. When doing eyeshadows, blending is the most important thing. You want to make sure the edges of each color blends into the other color that's next to it, or blends into your skin color. Next, I take a very small blending brush and I take the shade right here to put it into the outer corner. I want to make the color to focus on the outer corner, but also blend it into the crease a little. So it's kind of like making a V shape. What you want to do is to put the color right here, like make this place as the core of the color. Then blend out the color outward. Then we're going to take this color right here to blend out the edges. I usually focus on cruelty-free and vegan makeup products, and I know Morphe is not considered cruelty-free. I think that's because they make eyeshadow palettes in China, and sometimes they put carmine in their formula. You know, carmine is from beetles, right? That's why every time I buy eyeshadow palettes from them, I'm always extra careful to go through their ingredient lists to make sure there's no carmine in there. I think this palette is okay. Blending is very important for eyeshadows, so take your time and blend everything out if you want a flawless eye look. After blending, what you are looking for is darker color right here, like closer to your eyes. Then you also have another halo, lighter halo outside of that, deeper colors. That will make your eye look more professional, but honestly, everybody has different eye shapes, so it could be different from person to person. Next, I'm gonna take a pencil brush and dip into these two shades to do the lower lash line. Last, we're gonna do the shimmers. So I'm gonna take this golden shade and put on my lids. When I'm done with the shimmer, I would take back this tiny little brush that I did my outer corner with to blend the outer corner and the gold shade together. It would soften the edges. Last, I'm gonna use this shade to inner corner highlighting and brow bone highlighting. You can wet your brush to make your inner corner highlighting color strong, but you don't have to if you are going for a subtle look. I'm not gonna do it today because that's what we are aiming for. When doing the inner corner highlighting, you can make the inner corner highlighting color kind of connect with that golden shade on the lid. That would make the transition better. Then for brow bone highlighting, I am just gonna do right here. Of course, you can do more. You can go from here all the way over, but you don't have to do it. Okay, the shadows are done. I'm gonna go do eyeliner and put on some lashes. I'll be right back. So this look is complete. There's something I want to say about eyeliners. If you have hooded eyes like me, I have very, very hooded eyes. It's like a pathetic hooded. So you probably don't want to draw a big wing, because even if you do that, it's gonna be gone when you open your eyes. However, you can make a smaller wing and make it pointing up, then that's still gonna make your eyes a lot more open. The other thing is that you want to draw your lash line. I know a lot of people don't want to do that because it's difficult to clean and it kind of hurts a little. I didn't want to do that either because I have sensitive eyes, and every time I did that, my tears just came out like crazy. However, it makes a huge difference. That's why I probably don't do it when I'm going for work. I totally do it for my videos though. So this concludes this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please give me a thumbs up if you think this video is informative and helpful. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.